Once upon a time there were 3 princesses, named Roussette, Brunette, and Blondine, who lived in retirement with their mother, a princess who had lost all her former grandeur. One day an old woman called and asked for a dinner, as this princess was an excellent cook. After the meal was over, the old woman, who was a fairy, promised that their kindness should be rewarded, and immediately disappeared. Shortly after, the king came that way, with his brother and the Lord Admiral. They were all so struck with the beauty of the 3 princesses, that the king married the youngest, Blondine, his brother married Brunette, and the Lord Admiral married Roussette. The good fairy, who had brought all this about, also caused the young Queen Blondine to have 3 lovely children, 2 boys and a girl, out of whose hair fell fine jewels. Each had a brilliant star on the forehead, and a rich chain of gold around the neck. At the same time Brunette, her sister, gave birth to a handsome boy. Now the young queen and Brunette were much attached to each other, but Roussette was jealous of both, and the old queen, the king's mother, hated them. Brunette died soon after the birth of her son, and the king was absent on a warlike expedition, so Roussette joined the wicked old queen in forming plans to injure Blondine. They ordered Fientis, the old queen's waiting woman, to strangle the queen's 3 children and the son of Princess Brunette, and bury them secretly. But as she was about to execute this wicked order, she was so struck by their beauty, and the appearance of the sparkling stars on their foreheads, that she shrank from the deed. So she had a boat brought round to the beach, and put the 4 babes, with some strings of jewels, into a cradle, which she placed in the boat, and then set it adrift. The boat was soon far out at sea. The waves rose, the rain poured in torrents, and the thunder roared. Fientis could not doubt that the boat would be swamped, and felt relieved by the thought that the poor little innocents would perish, for she would otherwise always be haunted by the fear that something would occur to betray the share she had had in their preservation. But the good fairy protected them, and after floating at sea for 7 days they were picked up by a corsair. He was so struck by their beauty that he altered his course, and took them home to his wife, who had no children. She was transported with joy when he placed them in her hands. They admired together the wonderful stars, the chains of gold that could not be taken off their necks, and their long ringlets. Much greater was the woman's astonishment when she combed them, for at every instant there rolled out of their hair pearls, rubies, diamonds, and emeralds. She told her husband of it, who was not less surprised than herself. "I am very tired," said he, "of a corsair's life, and if the locks of those little children continue to supply us with such treasures, I will give up roaming the seas." The corsair's wife, whose name was Corsine, was enchanted at this, and loved the 4 infants so much the more for it. She named the princess, Belle Etoile, her eldest brother, Petit Soleil, the second, Aru, and the son of Brunette, Cherie. As they grew older, the corsair applied himself seriously to their education, as he felt convinced there was some great mystery attached to their birth. The corsair and his wife had never told the story of the 4 children, who passed for their own. They were exceedingly united, but Prince Cherie entertained for Princess Belle Etoile a greater affection than the other 2. The moment she expressed a wish for anything, he would attempt even impossibilities to gratify her. One day Belle Etoile overheard the corsair and his wife talking. "When I fell in with them," said the corsair, "I saw nothing that could give me any idea of their birth." "I suspect," said Corsine, "that Cherie is not their brother, he has neither star nor neck chain." Belle Etoile immediately ran and told this to the 3 princes, who resolved to speak to the corsair and his wife, and ask them to let them set out to discover the secret of their birth. After some remonstrance they gained their consent. A beautiful vessel was prepared, and the young princess and the 3 princes set out. They determined to sail to the very spot where the corsair had found them, and made preparations for a grand sacrifice to the fairies, for their protection and guidance. They were about to immolate a turtle dove, but the princess saved its life, and let it fly. At this moment a siren issued from the water, and said, "Cease your anxiety, let your vessel go where it will, land where it stops." The vessel now sailed more quickly. Suddenly they came in sight of a city so beautiful that they were anxious their vessel should enter the port. Their wishes were accomplished, they landed, and the shore in a moment was crowded with people, who had observed the magnificence of their ship. They ran and told the king the news, and as the grand terrace of the palace looked out upon the seashore, he speedily repaired thither. The princes, hearing the people say, "There is the king," looked up, and made a profound obeisance. He looked earnestly at them, and was as much charmed by the princess's beauty, as by the handsome mien of the young princes. He ordered his equerry to offer them his protection, and everything that they might require. The king was so interested about these 4 children, that he went into the chamber of the queen, his mother, to tell her of the wonderful stars which shone upon their foreheads, and everything that he admired in them. She was thunderstruck at it, and was terribly afraid that Phenitis had betrayed her, and sent her secretary to inquire about them. What he told her of their ages confirmed her suspicions. She sent